What if you followed every rule, had valid documents, served your community faithfully for years, and still found yourself locked out of the country you legally lived and worked in? That's not a hypothetical. It's the reality facing a growing number of African priests serving legally in the United States, men who are now stranded abroad, detained, or denied re-entry without explanation. And the implications go far beyond the church. Across the United States, religious leaders and immigration experts are raising alarms about what they say is a broken system, one that exposes deep cracks in immigration law, due process, and human dignity. One case drawing international attention is that of Father John K. Ojwang, a Kenyan Catholic priest who had been serving in the Diocese of Ogdensburg, New York. Father Ojwang was in the United States legally on an R1 religious worker visa, which is, a standard visa used by foreign clergy. In September, he traveled back to Kenya to visit his mother and renew the visa stamp in his passport, something U.S. immigration rules actually require. By all accounts, his interview at the U.S. Embassy went smoothly. Then, without warning, his visa stamp was refused. No explanation, no formal accusation, no timeline for resolution. Today, Father Ojwang remains stranded in Kenya, unable to return to his parish, his congregation, or the life he had built in the United States. His case sent shockwaves through the Diocese of Ogdensburg. In response, church leadership advised all foreign-born clergy to avoid international travel entirely, highlighting the fear and unpredictability now surrounding U.S. immigration enforcement. And this isn't an isolated incident. In Illinois, a Nigerian priest scheduled to begin ministry at St. Celestine Parish in Elmwood Park has been unable to secure a U.S. visa since June, despite meeting all formal requirements. In South Florida, Father Gustavo Santos, a Venezuelan priest serving on a valid R1 visa, was denied re-entry after traveling abroad. He was only allowed back home after intense intervention by church officials, immigration lawyers, and even a federal judge. And in Texas, Reverend James Eliud Ngahu Mwangi, a Kenyan Anglican priest with a work permit valid through 2029, was detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement over a prior visa overstay, despite his current lawful status. So, what's going on? At the center of the issue is the R1 non-immigrant religious worker visa. Under U.S. law, this visa allows foreign clergy to serve in religious roles for up to 5 years. After that, they must leave the country for at least 1 year, unless they qualify for permanent residency through the EB-4 Special Immigrant Religious Worker category. But here's the problem. Visa backlogs and shifting immigration policies have created a massive legal bottleneck. Thousands of religious workers now face expiring R1 status, while their EB-4 green card applications remain stuck in limbo. Immigration attorneys say this gap leaves clergy dangerously exposed to deportation, detention, re-entry denials, and prolonged separation from their ministries, even when they followed the law. One U.S.-based immigration lawyer described it as lawful presence without meaningful legal security, warning that visa decisions at embassies and ports of entry often lack transparency and are nearly impossible to challenge in court. The consequences aren't just legal, they're deeply personal. According to a 2022 national study, about 24% of priests serving in the United States are foreign-born. In rural and shrinking dioceses, African and other international clergy are often essential to keeping parishes open at all. At the same time, the number of U.S. priests has dropped by roughly 40% since 1970, increasing dependence on foreign clergy to meet basic pastoral needs. When visas are suddenly denied, parishes are left without leadership, congregations are disrupted, and already overstretched local clergy are pushed even further. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops has described the situation as creating a climate of fear and anxiety, where immigrants who followed the rules have arbitrarily lost their legal status. Legal scholars place these cases within a broader pattern of stricter immigration enforcement and expanded executive discretion, trends that intensified during the Trump administration and continue to shape visa adjudication today. Critics argue that denying visa renewals without explanation raises serious concerns about equal protection, administrative fairness, and due process. Civil rights advocates also point to the disproportionate impact on Black and brown immigrants, including African clergy, who often serve in under-resourced and marginalized communities. In response, faith groups are pushing for change. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops and other organizations have backed the Religious Workforce Protection Act, a bipartisan proposal that would allow religious workers with pending EB-4 applications to remain in the U.S. legally while awaiting permanent residency. A recent lawsuit filed by the Diocese of Paterson over religious worker visas was dropped amid expectations of legislative or administrative action, signaling growing recognition that immigration law has become a frontline issue for religious institutions. Meanwhile, African dioceses that send clergy abroad are calling for stronger safeguards, better legal planning, guaranteed access to immigration counsel, and contingency plans when visas are denied or revoked. As more cases emerge, legal analysts say they reveal a fundamental contradiction in U.S. immigration policy. The country relies on foreign religious workers to sustain community life, yet treats them as temporary, disposable, and easily excluded. For the clergy affected and the communities they serve, this is no longer an abstract legal debate. Routine travel for family emergencies, retreats, or official duties now carries the risk of sudden exile, even with lawful status. Whether Congress steps in to close these gaps remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: the current system leaves religious workers vulnerable to arbitrary outcomes and places U.S. immigration law on a collision course with principles of fairness, transparency, and human dignity. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel so more people can stay informed about stories that often go unheard. Your support truly helps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.